you guys, we're back on Thriving with PKU today in beautiful Southern California in front of my dad's awesome garden that I get to benefit from all the time. Today we're gonna make chips out of Swiss chard, which sounds weird, but they're actually really good. One of my biggest complaints about the PKU diet is that we have to eat a lot of processed food because usually that is lower in protein. So whenever I can add something into my diet that's natural and not processed, I'm very, very happy. Chard is super good for you. For a half cup, it's only 0.3 grams of protein and it's packed with all sorts of nutrients. So I'm gonna get to picking some Swiss chard. I'll see you in the kitchen. Okay, so we're back in the garden. I'm fanning myself with my chard because it's February and like 85 degrees in Southern California. It's killing me. But I already washed my chard. It's all ready to go. Chard, if you are unfamiliar with it, you're gonna cut off this bottom part and then you're gonna cut out like the center rim part of it. So I'm gonna do that right now. I just have two bunches of it, but you can do as much as you want. The biggest thing though is that it has to lay flat on the tray so that they get crunchy and they're not like mushy. So I'm gonna start cutting the ends off, get rid of those, and cut the center out. I already preheat my oven to 325 degrees. And you're gonna cut them into, I cut them into like 2 to 3 inch slices, but they're gonna shrink up on the tray when you bake them. So you can do them bigger, you can do them smaller, it's up to you. So I just make them this. Okay, here's my pieces. I'm gonna throw them all in a bowl because we're gonna be mixing some oil in them. So if you don't have a garden, you can get Swiss chard in the produce section. You don't have to have Swiss chard actually, it could be any kind of chard. Or if you like kale better, I've seen kale used for this too, but kale's just higher in protein, so you just want to be careful. So my dad made these for me a while ago and I ate the whole tray. I'm using just a little bit of oil. You don't want too much. I think I'm using like about a teaspoon of oil, but you can gauge how much you need based on your leaves and just pour in a little bit at a time. You want them to be coated but not wet because they won't crisp up if they're wet. So I'm just gonna pour it in and just mix it in into the leaves a little bit. And you just want them to be coated. Okay, so I have my oil all on the chard and I'm just gonna lay them on a sheet flat. And you don't want them to really be like overlapping on top of each other because then they won't get crunchy. Okay, so I have some Swiss chard left, but I'm not gonna put them on this pan. I'll have to do them on a separate pan. And now I'm just taking some salt. You can do as much salt as you want, but chard already has kind of like a salty taste, so you don't want too much, but you're just gonna sprinkle it over and it will glue on with that oil. Okay, and now I'm gonna add red pepper flakes, which I love. I really like mine super spicy. You could use like a half teaspoon if you want. If you have kids, you could leave it off entirely and it will still taste like crunchy, salty chips. But I like clear your sinuses spicy, like super spicy. So I'm putting mine on, just sprinkling it over on top. It's kind of nice to just not eat potato chips. And that's like my go-to, like tortilla chips is my go-to snack. I love them. Okay, now I'm just gonna put a little bit of pepper all over the top. And they're ready for the oven. So I'm putting them in at 325 for 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, I'm just gonna flip them around 180 degrees and cook them for like another 5 to 10 minutes more. You can watch yours though and make sure you want them to be crunchy, so you want to cook them enough so that they are crunchy. And when they're crunchy like that, they just like melt in your mouth. They're so good. So I'm gonna throw these in now. Woo! Oh, those are spicy. Oh, they're good. Make sure you take it easy on the red pepper flakes if you're not into spicy, because they kind of punch you after. Woo! Well, I took them out. They're all cooled off. They're crunchy. If yours aren't crunchy yet, you want to keep them in for a little bit longer. They would be super good, I feel like, as a side. They're just kind of something different. I post weekly videos on Thriving with PKU on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. that are all PKU food related. So if you're interested, make sure you subscribe below so you can get notified of when I post new videos. I'll see you guys next time on Thriving with PKU.